Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show quite an interesting tarot deck that was published quite a few years ago. That is the Babylonian Tarot. And this was created by Sandra Tabatha Cicero, who is quite well known for her work with her partner Cicero about Golden Dawn books and tarot decks that they have created together. And this was published by Llewellyn in 2006. It is out of print now, but you may be able to get a copy on Amazon or eBay or somewhere like that if you are interested. So here is the box, and this came as a book and deck set, and this was back in the days when the Llewellyn cardstock was quite good. So if you are interested in getting this, it is worthwhile from that perspective as well. So that's the box. Here is the book that was written by Sandra Tabatha Cicero, and she also created the deck as well. The book is quite well written. The deck has 5 extra cards. There is an extra major arcana card and an extra court card for each of the suits. So you have an extra major arcana card and one extra court card for each of the suits. So that's 5 extra cards in total, which makes it an 83 card deck. The extra major arcana card I will show in a moment, and the extra court card for each suit is called a cherub, and that is a creature, a mythological creature that's something like an angel, but it's really like part angel, part animal, and it's an ancient mythological figure. And I'll show at least one of those cards as well. So the cherub for each of the 4 suits represents spirit. So with the court cards you have king, queen, prince and princess, and a cherub card for each of the 4 suits. And this book expectedly follows the Golden Dawn format. It follows the Golden Dawn correspondences and the general meanings for the cards. The major arcana symbology is a bit different, but the meanings are essentially pretty close to the Golden Dawn ideas. There's 2 new spreads in the book as well, especially created for this Babylonian Tarot. And the Babylonian civilization is also known as the Mesopotamian civilization. It is probably the first civilization known in the world. It does predate the Egyptian civilization. So this is a very ancient civilization. And the Babylonian pantheon was quite important to the Golden Dawn as well. They mainly followed the Egyptian pantheon, but there was additions here and there to include Babylonian gods and goddesses, and sometimes concepts as well, because the Babylonians did influence the Egyptians and the ancient Greeks. So and also the ancient Jewish civilization as well. So I might talk about that in a moment when I show some of the major arcana cards. So here's the book. It's quite well written. So to go on to the cards now. As I was saying, this cardstock is really quite good. I think it's really a bit of a shame that the Llewellyn cardstock in recent years is not as good as it used to be. Here is the back of the cards. So it's got a Babylonian mythological creature. This is really like a cherub here for the detail design for the back of the card. So it's part animal, part angel with wings. So they are reversible. So that's the back of the card. And they have a beautiful smooth, the cardstock is good, and they have a smooth semi-gloss finish. So just to start with the major arcana cards, and these are a little bit more square, slightly square shaped than the usual tarot size. Now this first card is called Genesis, and it is in addition to the Fool card. So where I was saying there's an additional major arcana card, this is the additional major arcana card. It's called Genesis. And a lot of people will know Genesis from the first book of the Old Testament of the Bible. And it's quite recognised now that the book of Genesis was most likely influenced by the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was an ancient creation story that was really dates before the time of the book of Genesis. But the Genesis card in this tarot represents a primordial time that even predated the whole concept of zero. So that's why there's this additional card as well as the Fool card in this deck. So that's called Genesis. So I'll just show you some more major arcana cards. Here is the High Priestess. This is Ishtar. So there's a number at the bottom of the card and the title and the name of the god or goddess. So this is Ishtar. And there's also the planetary symbol. So you have the moon, which is the usual Golden Dawn association. That is Ishtar for the High Priestess. I think the artwork captures the Babylonian influence. So here is the Emperor. The Emperor is Marduk. And in the book, there is a really good description about the god or goddess for each card, and a meaning, then the meaning for the cards as well. So this is the Emperor and Marduk. And I like this Lovers card. This is based on Ishtar and Tammuz. It's quite a beautiful card. This is the Chariot, and this is Adept. This is the wheel, and it's also called Tablet of Destiny. This is interesting. I really like this. For the Temperance card, we have the Tree of Life. So a lot of people probably wouldn't realise that the Tree of Life actually dates back to the Babylonian civilization. So there was a Tree of Life concept before the Jewish Tree of Life concept. And the Babylonians were also known mainly for the creation of astrology as well. So the astrology, Western astrology that we recognise now, originated with the Babylonians. The original concepts of the astrological wheel and the signs. And then that was further developed by the Greeks and Romans later on. So I have quite an interest in the Babylonian civilization and the pantheon, because it was such a foundational civilization, and the ideas and concepts that were borrowed and developed later on by later civilizations. It's really quite amazing. So here is Temperance as the tree with the Tree of Life. I like that. This is the Devil card, and it's called Lamastu. Here is the Tower card, and this is about the story of Marduk and Tiamat. I hope you can see the detail in the card. This is the Star, and this is Siduri. Now this is really interesting, this card for the Moon. This is to do with the god called Sin, S-I-N. Now I find it really interesting that the moon god, the Babylonian moon god, was called Sin, which is well known to be associated with religion, Christianity in particular. So I have always found this really fascinating. So that is the moon god called Sin. I love this card. I think it's really lovely. This is Judgment, and this is Etana and the Eagle. For the Judgment card. And the last major arcana card I'm showing is the universe, the universe, and this is Anki. And I love the way that there's two faces here, and there's two salamanders here that are almost joining instead of the Ouroboros type of design. There's two salamanders. And this is the card in reverse. So it's really, I think that's really interesting for the universe card. I really like that. I think that's a great universe card. Now for these suits, you have wands and cups, and then you have arrows instead of swords, and you have discs instead of pentacles. So here is the Ace of Wands, and this is called Natural Force. So I like the fiery energy of this card. It's Ace of Wands. Two of Wands. And you have the title of Dominion, which is very much the Golden Dawn title. Three of Wands. Now this is where it sort of veers away from the traditional. This one is called Achievement. Now here is a cherub I'm going to show, which is the extra cord card, representing spirit for each of the suits. And this is the lion-headed, this is the cherub of wands, the lion-headed spirit. So this is lion representing Leo and the fire signs. I really like the addition of the cherubs in this deck. I think it's really relevant for the Babylonian pantheon. So that's the cherub of wands and the king of wands, who is Nasku. There's two lamps, two ancient lamps down here. It's the King of Wands. I like the colouring for the suits as well. They're the traditional colouring for the Golden Dawn suits. So here is the Ace of Cups. This is titled Fertility. And you have the water element symbol at the top, above the cup. Now I like this. This is different. Seven of Cups, seduction, and it has the Lilith or Lilitu goddess. I really like this for the Seven of Cups. It's called Seduction. You don't see Lilith on many tarot cards. This is the Princess of Cups, and this is Ishara. Princess of Cups. I really like this artwork. Now for the arrows, which is representing the sword suit. Ace of Arrows, Invocation. So this is the air suit. Two of Arrows, and this is called Peace Restored. Five of Arrows. This is called Defeat. Princess of Arrows, who is called Ninlil. So you have all of the yellow colouring, mainly for the air suit, because yellow is the traditional colour for air in the Golden Dawn associations, and red is for fire and yellow for air. King of Arrows, and this is Elil. King of Arrows. You have some clouds here to represent air as well. Now for the discs. There's a coloured green to represent the earth, usual traditional colour. Ace of Discs, Materiality. We have an 8-pointed star. Four of Discs, Security. Ten of Discs, Completion. And another cherub. Cherub of Discs, the human-headed bull. This is representing Taurus for the earth signs. The cherub of discs. And all of the cherubs represent the spirit element of the court cards. That's why it's winged. Cherub of Discs. Okay, so they're all the cards I'm showing today for the Babylonian Tarot by Sandra Tabatha Cicero, published by Llewellyn 2006. I really like this deck. It's very well done. I like the artwork. I'm really glad that someone did create a tarot about the Babylonian pantheon and civilization, and this has been well done, not only the artwork but the book as well. I think it's really well written. It gives people a really good background and a really good idea of the different gods and goddesses, and there's an introduction to the book giving a historical background as well. It's not too long, but it gives a good general background of the Babylonian civilization and where that sits in ancient history and why the civilization was so important. And as I was saying, it was quite an important civilization in regard to esoteric ideas and concepts as well, because they did influence the Egyptians and the Greeks and even the Jewish civilization, particularly to do with the Tree of Life. And as I was saying, there was this original Babylonian idea of the Tree of Life, and then it developed much further by the Jewish civilization. And also the origins of astrology come from the Babylonian civilization as well. So it was quite an important civilization, and the myths are very interesting, and the Epic of Gilgamesh predates the book of Genesis, so it's a really interesting civilization. So this is worthwhile for people who are interested in learning more about the Babylonian civilization. You may be able to get a copy, still be able to. So it's worthwhile for the points that I mentioned. And I'll put some details below the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.